David Ben-Gurion, on the night before the Sabbath, went on to the national radio and broadcast around the world the declaration on May 14th, 1948, that a new nation was born that was going to be called Israel. And at that moment, those 5 Arab nations, Egypt, Jordan, Syria, Lebanon, and Iraq, declared war, along with the Arabs that lived in the Palestine area. And so now Israel, one day, old of age, very small population, find themselves at a war against 5 established armies with mass armies. No one in the world thought that Israel could survive this war. And the United States had voted not to provide any support. No help, no arms, no ammunition, nothing. And in fact, it was outlawed. Anyone who did bring equipment or ammunition would be arrested. There was one nation who stood with Israel in providing them with arms and ammunition. And that one nation is Czechoslovakia. Now you might say, Czechoslovakia, why would they do that? And they answered later, because we were overrun by the Germans. We understand the suffering, and we couldn't stand by and do nothing. So we provided the arms. And so people were buying surplus jets, planes, from the United States, for example, because, the war's over. There are many surplus things available. People would buy them and fly them to Mexico, and then fly them to Czechoslovakia, where they were licensed and flown from Czechoslovakia to Israel. Israel had no Air Force. Interestingly, they had a well-disciplined army because they already knew that this would happen, and they had been preparing for it for years. So when we think about this war of independence, no one in their right mind thought that they would survive, but we attribute, of course, Czechoslovakia helping them, but also there's another thing that we should factor in, and that is the hand of God. Let's never forget that there is a fulfillment of prophecy in Scripture that Israel would one day come back into the land. And so when you look at the modern history of Israel, I submit that you will see the hand of God moving in ways that stand and support his people. But we see, and you can read all kinds of stories that happened out of the War of Independence that are just amazing. Then there's another factor, and that is that with the British blockade over, with the restrictions on immigration over, Jews from around the world started to come. Hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands a month. Many of these who had fought in World War II. They've landed in Israel, given a uniform, given a rifle, and sent out to the field, just like that. And their army was swelling and increasing, although they had many troubles to fight against 5 Arab nations and the local Arab militias. They had a difficult time, but they began to become very, very, very successful. As we know, they not only did they win that battle, they enlarged their boundaries considerably.